Nevertheless, I think the majority opinion, of course, would be celebrating. It was on Malcolm X Day and in the month of Ramadan, so quite a multicultural festival there, an environment in which to celebrate the royal wedding. We're going to go back to the calls. Lots of you trying to get through. Hassan from Slough, tell us what you think.
Hi, assalamu alaikum.
Salam.
I was really, really proud to be British yesterday. We did actually visit Windsor, although it was late in the afternoon, but there was numerous number of people there celebrating this diversity, and I was really, really proud to be British because what we saw yesterday was the best of British. Now, for those who think that Meghan is too black or too much of a white privileged girl, they need to realise that she is exactly what her genetics have determined her to be. So, deal with it. I love that the preacher, Michael Curry, who was on fire.
He brought Christianity back into Christianity, didn't he?
Absolutely. I love these American preachers, but he was really, really good. The message of love was outstanding. And I had what was going through my mind yesterday was something else as well. You were right to call out black racism as well as white racism, but there is racism within our own Asian Muslim community, and I've witnessed this when, for example, a few years ago, a Pakistani man had married a black woman, and he was ostracized by his community. Or the fact that I was threatened to be thrown out of the family if I married a non-Bengali. And you've memorized half the Quran, haven't you? So you'll know this particular verse in chapter 49, verse 13, which talks about the unity of mankind and respecting differences. And it was quoted by Theresa May last year as her favourite verse from the Quran at the Tory conference. But unbeknown to her, that verse was quoted for the first time at a Tory conference in 2001. It's my favourite verse as well. So we would step back and look at which communities are actually really following the principle of that particular Quranic verse. It does not bode well for the Muslim Asian community.
There's racism, Hassan, thank you for that call. There's racism, actually, interestingly. A lot of people may not want to face this uncomfortable fact, but there is racism within ethnic minority communities as well. And it's actually often based on a hierarchy with South Asian communities looking down, necessarily, perhaps some of them, not all of them, looking down on people with a darker skin complexion to theirs. But then within that, if you break it down, with certain Punjabi Pakistanis, my family heritage, looking down on Bengalis like Hassan, and it's just terrible. No one's ever good enough. And I think it's why it's important for us to have this frank and candid conversation. If we remember the words of Dr. Martin Luther King, then the aim should always be to aspire to that dream where people are judged by the content of their character and not by the colour of their skin. And if you're a black nationalist reducing Meghan to her skin colour by suggesting that she's not black enough, then how are you any different to the neo-Nazis who consider her too black?